Greetings, my name is Dave Richardson, and I'm proud to be the co-founder and chairman of the Stigma-Free Society. I'm absolutely committed to the belief that we need to bring down the stigmas that exist in our schools, our workplace, and our community, so that people that are dealing with mental health challenges or mental illness can get the help they need and can be embraced by their friends, their family, their colleagues, and they can heal. Because stigma about mental health is probably one of the most damaging and fundamental issues that we have in helping people address their mental health needs. Stigma exists in our society in so many ways. It's not just about mental health. It's about rage that exists learned from our parents. It's about messages that are coming down from political office. We have to become more compassionate as a society. We have to make a difference, not only in our own lives, but in everyone's lives around us. 20 minutes watching the news is a frightening experience. There's so much hate in the world. And if we are going to deal with the bigger issues like climate and all the other things that exist, we're going to have to work together. I grew up in the city of Winnipeg. I had the good fortune, albeit a double-edged sword, to grow up in a very successful, noted, and recognized family. That certainly had its advantages, to be sure. On the other hand, it set me up to be bullied. Kids who just had something inside them that said that they had to pick on somebody, I was a good target. From about grade 4, I was badly bullied, and I understand the damage that it can do to children. It wasn't easy, but I think that it's become part of the fabric of who I am. It's probably why I became an entrepreneur, because I wanted to make a difference. I know now, having got to the far side of stigmatizing myself, that I had to come to understand who I was, and that the depression, at times anxiety, that I dealt with my entire life was something that was just part of me. And I had to get over stigmatizing myself about taking medication. If I'd had a heart problem or high blood pressure or thyroid or anything else, I'd have had no hesitation taking medication. But my head, that was a problem. And I think that problem was probably generational. Nobody talked about mental health back when I was growing up. I'm old enough to remember when cancer was, it's the C word. Shh, cancer, don't say anything. And now, when someone has cancer, they share it with their friends and colleagues. They're embraced by their friends, by their family, by the community. And it's so vital to helping people deal with their illness, come to terms with what they're living with, and find the inner strength to fight against something which is going on in our body. We have to bring mental health to the same level. We've got to put it out on the table. It's got to be a safe subject. I was on holidays with my wife, and I was scheduled to fly home 4 days before her. I've traveled the world, northern China, all through Europe, Africa, India. I've traveled extensively. from a young age, and I never had a problem going anywhere at any time. But I had to get her to fly home with me because I was afraid to go through Heathrow Airport by myself. I couldn't do it because my anxiety went right off the scale. I decided I wanted to be the best I could be for my friends, my family, my coworkers, and me. I now joke that I keep a 2-month supply of my medication on hand at all times. Why? Because when they put me in the pine box, it doesn't matter if I'm going north, more likely south. I'm going to enjoy the journey. No withdrawal throughout the voyage, because I want a better life. And if taking a little medication is what makes the difference, I'm okay. And I'm better than okay, because I've come to terms with the stigma that is so prevalent in our society about dealing with mental health. How do we address the issue of stigma? How do we open ourselves up, or how do we create an understanding community around us that will accept us for who and what we are? We didn't choose to be who and what we are. Could be genetics, could be social environment, could be the part of the world and the community that we're brought up in. It really doesn't matter, except for the fact that we have to make the best of what we've got, where we've been, and who we are. I'm really challenged by the negativity that's in the papers, on the television, rampant in the news. Protests, fighting, anger, hate, animosity, lack of tolerance for other people who have a right to be on this planet with us. Nobody has any more right than anyone else. And we have to find a way to live together, because there are far bigger issues and challenges facing this planet than somebody's color or race or religion. We have to do better. We have very, very big global issues to deal with if we're going to continue to exist on this planet. And fighting amongst ourselves is just not productive. My name is Dave Richardson. I'm the chairman and co-founder of the Stigma-Free Society, and it is my great pleasure, indeed honor, to have the opportunity to speak with you today about the topic of mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness that exists in all communities, but in particular in the rural and agricultural communities. It's sometimes difficult to understand why rural communities and agricultural communities would suffer disproportionately more than urban environments. And it seems to be that the big issue is stigma. The proud farmers, the brave souls who endure difficult weather, crop failures, the challenges of living on the land makes them particularly prone to having a pride that says, I can't discuss this. I need to suffer in silence. And I can tell you, as someone who spent most of my childhood growing up on the farm and in a rural community, I know the struggles of depression, of anxiety, of self-doubt, and what that can do to your self-worth, your sense of confidence, your well-being, and your ability to deal with the challenges that face everyone, but in particular, a community that is so dependent on the unpredictability of weather, of the success or failure of crops, of everything riding on what happens in harvest season over which you have no control. I'm so excited to be able to introduce you to the Rural Mental Wellness Toolkit that we have developed specifically to reach out into the rural and agricultural communities and provide resources, provide help, provide support, and in particular, to provide encouragement. We all need help sometimes. And one of the toughest things in my entire life was coming to terms with the fact that I suffered from anxiety and depression. And that's why we've built the Rural Mental Wellness Toolkit, because there's a lot of tough days. We want to help bring you the tools that give you resources. And it's my sincere hope that by telling you that I struggled, that you realize you're not alone. There's wonderful resources online, and we've brought them together in our toolkit. We're here to help, and know you are not alone.